All right, we're rolling. We're live. Hello. Welcome to Does This Work, a comedy podcast, chatting to comedians at every level. And today, my guest is a Perth favourite. He was born in Ireland. He's performed internationally before calling Perth his home, so he's doing pretty well. Winner of the 2024 Next Gen Comedy Awards, and this year he launched his Fringe Show Festival with fellow comedian Dave Callan called Home and Away. He's also been voted the sexiest comedian in Perth by me, Ian Burke, ladies and gentlemen.
I was about to say, when the fuck was this vote? Why didn't I hear?
It's a new award. We've just come up with it on the spot.
I like it.
Yeah, cool.
I like it.
Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. I've been wanting to get you in since day one, which was 3 days ago.
So you texted me last week.
Well, when I conceptualized the idea, I'm like, Ian Burke is a good hang. He's a great chat. How's it going? How's it going?
It is good.
It's your day off, so I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I'm getting too many of those these days.
Too many days off. That's all I get is days off. I work nights. I play music, so it's like 3 gigs, 2 to 3 gigs a week, and I'm done pretty much. But yeah, all right. Everything's rolling. I've got things remotely. No one's behind the camera now, so I'm just hoping everything's going fine. Ian Burke, I have one question. For the first question for you that I ask everyone, Why comedy? And that's all the time we have.
Yeah, it's one of those things now that I'm like, I just can't imagine not doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was something I always like had like an obsession with growing up, and was like, that's the dream.
Cool.
But I was like, I could never do that. I'm like, how do they do it? And it like never left my mind. I think when I finished college, then, you know, had like a summer where I just went drinking every day. I was like working in you call it a bottle-o, and I was just like, it was just every night for an entire summer, living the dream. Then I got to the end of that summer and went, well, that can't be life. I was like, what do I actually want to do? I kind of knew then. I was like, stand up, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to start doing this, and started writing comedy, and then took me 4.5 years to actually do my first gig.
Yeah.
I was like, I went in the whole corporate world, was like, you know, working me like, I'm going to climb this ladder. And I'm like, nah, just never felt right.
Yeah.
And then, one day I just realized, I'm like, nah, if I don't do this now, I'm going to look back and regret my life.
So how old were you when you started, when you got, after that 4 years, when you got on stage?
I did my first gig at 26.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's great. So then the idea for stand-up came into your head. You were a fan of stand-up. Who were the people that you watched? And this is in Ireland?
Yeah. In Ireland.
So what was it, Irish comedians with Jim Owen, or was it like,
So, to be honest, like, Jim Owen's like the biggest Irish comedian in Australia. Like back in Ireland, back in the day, no one knew him. Like, I only found out about him a few years ago.
Right, really?
I think the big one in Ireland was always Tommy Tiernan. He's like,
oh yeah, cool. Well, I guess because Jim Owen has been based here for
Australian
decades. Yeah.
So like in Ireland, it was UK heavy.
Yeah.
So like you know we'd get all the UK channels. So it'd be like Jimmy Carr was like the big one.
Yeah.
I watched 8 out of 10 Cats religiously. So it was like Jimmy Carr and like Frankie Boyle. I like that kind of like cheeky, darker. So they would have been kind of the two growing up that I was like, oh man, I can't believe they say those kind of things.
That's cool. So growing up, you'd go, I want to do that one day, and then it became a plan. It was never something, because I viewed stand-up comedians like, and not a job. It was like being a king. It was like something you could never just be. Yeah. So I didn't understand how people could just get up and go out and do it. And similar to you, I didn't do it I've been wanting to do it since I was a kid, but I never took it seriously. And in my head, I was like, that's like one of those pipe dreams.
Yeah,
you know, I'll go
you have to be a special person.
Yeah.
I was born but a regular.
And then I was probably 2.5-ish years before I got on stage from deciding to do it. So it was another. I think we've chatted about it before, but it was a long process of like getting the balls up and the guts up to go and reading and writing.
It's the most daunting thing of all time. I can't believe like I've seen people like I've used to like run like an open mic in Galway, and like you'd have a guy in the crowd just be like, can I just get up? And I'm like, yeah, go for it. And they absolutely eat shit. Yeah. But I'm just like, wow, I just can't believe he just went like, I'm just going to do it. He shouldn't have, but I respect the courage.
Yeah. And was that the daunting part for you, was the bombing? Because you're not one to generally bomb much. Like I rarely see you bomb.
Yeah. No.
If ever.
Stop. I think it was just, before I got into it, I just couldn't get over the stage fright of it. I think it was the idea of getting up and speaking in front of people. And then like, in my head, like I built up like, what if you tell a joke and no one laughs?
Yeah, that was my thing.
Like the world would end.
Yeah. Like, of course, it'd be easy if everyone laughed. If everyone laughed to everyone that did it, everyone would do it. Because now there's a boom. Now there's like we've gone the pendulum swung the other way from being this elite thing. And I wish I could have been a part of that sort of time where I was like, I remember when, when it was just the few of us. Because comedians like in Perth talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, back when it was not elite, but it was like no one was doing it. Now, like every man and his dog's coming and doing it. So like, but yeah, and did you find, okay, so then when you first decided to do it, you started writing. What was when you sit down to write, you're like, how do I write? How do I think of a joke? And what was that like for you? Were you imitating someone else before you found your own voice, or was it?
I think I kind of maybe it was definitely had influences of like Frankie Boyle and Jimmy Carr. Like it was. I remember like because I took like a college notebook like, and I'll be honest, like I think it was like I had 2 pages written in it. I was like, that was a whole year's notebook. I was like, man, I did not take college seriously at all. And I just started like writing jokes, and I'm like looking back, like some of them were good. A lot of them, I'm like, man, you were troubled at 21. I was like, it's a good thing I didn't just go straight into it, because I think I had that like young state of mind where I'm like, I thought being offensive was funny. And then I learned like, no, it's not being offensive. It's being, there's a difference between dark and offensive. Yeah. Dark is like, ooh, you shouldn't joke about that. But whereas offensive just pisses people off. And I think I was offensive then. I'm looking back to something, I'm like, no, thank God I never said that on stage.
Well, I think a lot of comedians, when they start off, they go offensive because they think that's going to get an immediate
it gets
laugh.
The reaction.
Yeah. And I did a couple of offensive ones at a Mad Cow, my first one. I told a offensive joke that I got a boo, and it wasn't even a good boo. It was like a really unemphatic.
That was
boo,
like a
boo. It was just a boo.
You could feel it.
Yeah. Boo, because they're dead silence. Normally, if someone goes boo, you'd hear that amongst the crowd, but it was crickets and then boo.
It was a pity boo.
Yeah. That because that stung more, because then you pause for laughter. Yeah.
I find sometimes like because I remember that was always the thing, like that I was so afraid that you tell a joke and no one would laugh, and like first time you do it, you want the world to swallow you up. Yeah. Then you get better at it, and like it used to always do that. Like I'd say like even like 2 years ago, if I was doing a good set but then one joke failed, I'd get like so nervous after that. I'd like lose the swagger you need to, and then it's like the whole set would just go downhill from there. And then like I kind of think really in the last, that's been a focus of mine, is to like learn how to like, look, no matter how bad, every joke, fuck it, it's gone, it's said, don't let it. And now I've got to the point where I'm like, I will purposely throw in a joke that I know the audience isn't going to like. Yeah. Just to get that, and then win them
reset.
Back.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I'm
like a challenge.
I won't do it when I'm doing like a good gig that you get, but like when you're doing like a gig that, open mic or just like, a fun one that you're like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna, for fun. Yeah. For my own development, I'm just gonna throw this one in. I think my favorite one is, I don't know if you know my Iran joke. That's the one that I'm like, the audience has to be so on board, and when they are, it crushes. But when they're not, they're like,
buttholes tightening up. Yeah. I don't really do that. Like, do you get surprised at what you think is not an offensive joke that people react offensively to? Are you still surprised, or are you like, what?
I don't think I'm surprised. Yeah. I just think people are idiots.
Yeah. You hear that?
Because I think I have like this justification in my head where I'm like, when I'm joking about something that's like that, I'm like, I know in my head, like, I'm never actually like poking fun at the victims. I'm like, kind of like, if there's a victim in the joke, it's the people that are the cunty people doing it. And I'm like, so in my head, like, I've justified that, I've thought about it, I'm like, yeah. And then you tell someone, you're like, oh, but no, you shouldn't joke about that ever. I'm like, no, but I'm doing it to fuck those guys. Yeah. I'm like, if you heard the subject and then didn't get the joke, I'm like, just admit you're not that smart.
Yeah. Well, like Mark Norman's got a good joke about a response he got when he did it. It's like a joke within a joke. He talks about how a lady came up to him after a show about an abortion joke that he made, and she's like, I found that so offensive. I had an abortion. You can't joke about that. He's like, I think what you did is much worse. Yeah. Like I was just joking. I was so brilliant, because it's like, you can't take it upon yourself to be offended on behalf of everyone. Because then where do we draw the line? And that brings me to like a question which I don't really have on the list, but it's like, is there anything that's off topic? Like, not just to you, but in general. Should things be off topic?
No.
No.
I think any subject should be able to be joked about as long as you can make it funny.
Yeah. Also, it depends on the comedian. You know what I mean? Like Louis C.K. can say the N-word and get away with it.
You can.
I had a bit where I'm like, can brown guys say the N-word, or do brown guys need their own version of the N-word? Because I saw another clip online of this like Indian guy saying it, and this black, he's like there's like a street interview or something, and this Indian guy says, "What's up, ma?" And this black guy like just pokes his head out from behind. He's like, "What did you say?" And then he says it again. The Indian guy doubles down. He's like, "You're my, we're all each other." Wow. I was like, wow, that Indian guy's. He could have gone, "I'm sorry."
No.
But he doubled down.
Anyway, I respect that.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about N-word. For some reason, it all just keeps coming back to...
It always does. At the end of the day, that's what comedy is. Finding ways to say the N-word.
Safely. This is a safe space. The title of this podcast, this episode is Ian Burke Says the N-word. We'll get it out of him by the end of the podcast. So on that, what would you find is different, or the differences between audiences in Ireland and audiences in Perth?
I find that I think in Ireland, everyone thinks they're a comedian. I think Irish people in general are like that little bit funnier. But as a result, they don't care as much for stand-up comedy as... I got here, I'm like, wow, people just come out and watch stand-up. I'm like, it's great. You get so many people, like, rooms are full. You're like, this is amazing. Then you go back to Ireland, and it's like, people's like, sure, if I'm going out, I just want to sit with my friends at a bar and drink, and we will be each other's comedians. Yeah. So that's the thing. I'm like, in Australia, people want a reason to go out and drink. In Ireland, people just want to go out and drink.
Yeah, I've never got that. I'm like, you can. I've never understood that. I've never understood drinking games. I'm like, just drink. Just drink. Yeah. Like, I don't need a ping pong ball to drink a beer. I'll just drink.
That's slowing me down. What do you mean I have to wait till someone fucking scores this shit?
It shouldn't be a challenge that I have to complete to be able to drink. Isn't that why we're all here, to drink?
I do like I love the Australian audience. There definitely is a huge difference. That there was huge similarities too. Like coming over, I felt like I very quickly adapted to. I think Australian actually like dark comedy more than Ireland. I was like, I knew there's that they like a good punch. If anything, I feel like Australia, they want it to be a little bit less subtle. Yeah. In Ireland, you have to be like subtle about your dialogue. Whereas in Australia, they're like, no, fucking just say it plainly for us.
Like Dylan
be
Moran.
As offensive as possible.
Dylan Moran's like that. Like he plays everything pretty flat but he goes dark, but he's like, I get what you mean. And do you feel like, all right, so, and this is why I want to do this, is because like one of my favorite things is hanging out green rooms, chatting comedy with people. You know, if everyone's in a good mood to hang or whatever, no one's in a corner scribbling notes down, writing on their hand, then it's good to hang. Have you, since coming here, have you felt like, and we all roast each other and shit, you know, do you feel like you get a bit of that sort of stereotypical Irish like abuse? Like for example, I worked with they just go the Irish route, because I worked with a guy named Connor, classic Irish name, and my boss would like greet him every morning by calling him Leprechaun, and as if he would find that funny. Like, morning Leprechaun, how you going? And he's like,
all right, top of the morning.
Yeah, it's great, good, yeah, it's funny. And he couldn't say anything because it's his boss. You know, do you feel like when like that's all, not all you get, but that's kind of like
100%. That's what people lead with. Yeah, like, oh, Ian, he's Irish, so he must be an alcoholic, and it's like, hey, I'm an alcoholic because I'm an alcoholic. Okay, my nationality has nothing to do with this shit. Yeah, all right. So and then I feel like you give it back just as if not worse. You have to. I think my favorite one that I got recently was like last week. Me and Dave Callum were doing a roast battle. His last joke, I actually dropped the microphone. I laughed so hard. Like, he caught me so off guard, where he just goes like, Ian looks like Conor McGregor if Conor McGregor was out of shape and more rapey. I let you drop away. You win. I was like, fuck me.
Would you guys run jokes by each other for roasts?
No, we said to each other, let's not.
Yeah.
I think like it's a good idea to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like you can coordinate and plan it off. But I think me and him were like, nah, fuck it. Like I have a feeling I know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I trust it, but like I want to be caught off guard.
Yeah.
I want, and that one, like if I had known he was gonna say that, it wouldn't have been. But I'm like, the fact that he just caught me off guard and I got that like proper reaction on stage where I dropped the mic and bent over laughing was like that. That was way better than fucking any planned shit you could have done.
And then so it was last year you took our first place at Next Gen Comedy. So
Yes.
how has that sort of altered the trajectory of your stand-up career? Have you got more, like after that win, were you getting more emails and phone calls?
Yeah, 100%. So I think I've been here maybe 3 or 4 months at that point.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I saw Johnny post something from the lounge saying like he's new to Perth. I'm like, I thought you've been here for ages.
Yeah, no, like I've been here for over a year. Like, but yeah, that was it. Because I think I got here in February 2024.
Right.
So, and I think at first, I think when I first got here, I was so overwhelmed. I was like afraid to. I didn't do a gig for the first like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then kind of like dip my toes in a bit, and then start going well, and I was like picking up, like won the gong a few times, and started getting a few gigs. I'm like, okay. Starting to get known, and I'm like, then all of a sudden I won that, and after that it was just emails like, can you do this? Can you do like people I've never met offering me gigs, and I'm like, okay, like it really just changed everything.
Yeah, cool.
And like after that was massive. I remember as well when it happened, because at the time I was dead broke. I like literally I remember at a friend's wedding in October, like my best friend was getting married, and I could not afford a plane ticket home. And I remember like the week before that competition, because it was $1,500 for the winner, and I was like, it's like a fucking movie, because I was like, $1,500 is actually the price of a return flight back to Ireland. And it's like, that movie where it's like, oh wow, we need $50,000 to save our gym. Well, this prize is $50,000. And you're like, okay. And I was like, all right, like if I win this, I get it. And then I think it was like on like the Wednesday before it or the Tuesday before it, I get a job, because I was trying to get like any kind of job to do my regional work. Yeah. I got like offered a FIFO role, and they're like, it's 3 weeks on, 1 week off. Like you're going to be making like 10 grand a month. And I was kind of like, oh, that would be amazing. Yeah. And I was like, when can I start? And they're like, you have to fly out tomorrow. I was like, I got this like competition on Saturday. It's 1,500. Not quite 10K a month, but I was like, but it's 1,500. Yeah. And there's no guarantee I'm gonna win it. Yeah. And I was like, can I fly out the next week? They're like, no, we only do like, once a month flight. I'm like, can I do the next month? And they're like, probably not. Like it's now or never. You can take your chances. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my chances. I'm just gonna go for this comedy.
On comedy, yeah. That's good.
I like, because at the time I knew as well, if I was doing 3 weeks on, 1 week off, comedy just would have fallen apart. Yeah. Like, I probably would have got addicted to the FIFO money. Yeah. Like your friend you were telling me that does the acting. Yeah. So I was kind of like, had that like kind of dilemma where I was like, okay, I'm gonna refuse this opportunity. I'm like, I've still got a job and I've got this competition. I think it was like the following day I got fired from the job and I think that I remember just like the day before the competition just being like, I'm now unemployed and basically this is my only shot at money at all. And if I don't win this, I don't get to go home for my best friend's wedding. And I'm like, I've never had more pressure in anything in my entire life. And luckily I won it then and got to go home. Yeah. And after that, gigs started flying in, like proper paid gigs. And I was like, I definitely 100% made the right decision. Yeah, that's cool. I'm like, I have absolutely no regrets that I did that. Yeah, because
alternate reality is like you took the FIFO job and then we don't see you in the scene at all. No one's looking.
I gig once a month. Yeah. And I currently have 200 grand in my bank account.
And you have severe depression. But that's anyway. No different. That's awesome. So what does a writing session look like to you now from when you started? So you were your writing style back then was sort of inspired by certain people, and then as you've progressed, how is it different now? Like, do you sit down to write, or do you let inspiration sort of just hit you?
Bit of both. So I'm kind of like, the notes app on my phone is very used. Just anytime I think of anything, just write it down. You know, I feel like the times are like, it's either when you're chatting away with people and you kind of say something funny, you're like, write that down.
Yeah.
Or else I'm one of those, I love driving, but I don't know, I get into like a weird trance when I'm driving where I'm like, I'm fully focused on the road. Like I'm staring at it, but it's dead behind the eyes because I'm just having like a full blown dialogue going, and then like I'll get that, oh shit, yeah, and then I'll like press the like voice record on the phone and be like randomly spew out shit. I'm like, okay, and then I'll go to a cafe. I try to get like as often as I can, like minimum like 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Ideally once a day when you're in a like a good routine for like at least an hour, and you just go into a cafe, order a coffee, sit down, take out the notes app, take out a bunch of notebooks, and just start. Like, what was I trying to say there? Sometimes you're looking at it being like, man, you need to stop being so stupid when you're writing like you've just wrote down like 4 words that summarized an entire paragraph thinking, I'll know what that means. And then you're like, no, you're not as smart as you think you are.
I should do the voice thing, but I'll like with my phone.
Yeah, I know. I'm just so bad at that. I'm like, like I've sometimes like if it's a really good thought, I will like just pull in. I'm like, all right, okay, I'm just finding someone to pull in, write this down properly, because I always find no matter how clearly you speak into the notes app, phones aren't that smart.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ugh.
Do you have a joke that didn't work to begin with, and you workshopped it, and now it's a fully formed bit, but it's a completely different joke than when it started out as? It's a very specific question.
I was about to say, I feel like that covers like most of the joke.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I do find that sometimes it's like changing one word completely changes everything. And there's so many ones that I'm like, oh, I know this example, but I'm like, I forget how I first said it now. It's been so long of like this that I'm like, oh, I actually forgot the original way that used to eat shit.
But like when sometimes when things just hit, do you ever go yes, and you know it's going to work, and that's it? I feel like that's the same with everyone. Like as soon as you have something like, oh fuck yeah, it's gold, and then you know it's going to work. Whereas I don't have the guts or the balls like a lot of other comedians do to get up and just try half a thought out and then keep trying the open mics until it's fully fledged. I need to read it off a page and go, all right, that's something now. Yeah. And keep changing it until, would I laugh at this? You know, and then sometimes it doesn't work. But like, I think that's why when I started semi-decently, because I wasn't winning the gogs when I started, but I got through the first like 3 or 4 of them. I was on like a nice little streak, and then gong, and then I get through gong, and then it was like 50-50. It was, you know, but like whereas you just like threw I think you've gonged twice. Yeah. Fuck, man. That's like.
I remember the first time it happened as well, because it was Josh Jerkin came up and he's like, he went a thing where, because now he's like, they're saying you have to do new material. Yeah. But like he for ages was like, you gotta do new. You gotta do new. And I was like, fine, I'll do it. Ate shit. Yeah. And I got going. As I came off, I'm like, oh well, you know, the streak ends. Like, you know, it was a good year. Yeah. And then just like the door just opens, and like I've never seen Josh smile before. He came in like ear to ear, like, what happened? But this doesn't happen to you. What happened? It's like, you absolute little cunt.
Well, for such a long time, we'd go like, you know, the other open micers would go like, all right, who's here? All right, Jill, Ian. Okay, so and Wolfie. All right, so they'll be the top 3. And Nola, like when everyone and all the top winners are there, like we're all like, there's like me and Lockie and whoever else. We're like, well, let's get this gong rung out. So we're all. I think we're always back then anyway. We're like, okay, count the winners in the crowd in the open mics tonight. It's not going to be us. So I was happy because normally I was behind, like I was coming in like 4th behind like you and Wolfie and Jill, and I was like, fuck yes. And then I was getting gonged, and then my Thursday nights kind of got taken away. So I was like, I haven't really been there in a while. So talk to me about Home and Away. How did that come to be? And not the shitty Australian show.
No, we're Home But Away.
Home But Away. Oh, I'm so sorry. Home But Away.
Home But Away. I guess. Yeah, me and Dave, like fucking, we've been friends since first moved here. And yeah, I think it was like maybe last October or something, we're like looking at Fringe, and like, so I've never done a Fringe before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I haven't even done Edinburgh because I think I'd started in 2019, and then I was like 2020 COVID few years, and then like I left Ireland in 2023, and it just never worked out that I got over. So it's like, this is my first Fringe festival. I was like, I'm not doing my own show. So I got on to Dave, and we're like kind of like, yeah, let's do it. We're trying to figure out the angle, and it's like, well, I'm Irish, you're Scottish, obviously got to play into that. And Home and Away, I don't know if you know this, huge over in Ireland, the UK. It's on every day. It's like everyone knows
that
it.
and Neighbours, right? Like,
the two though. Those like the only two Australian shows we know.
No, there's the only ones we did.
Yeah. So then I remember we're like, yeah, I think Dave came up with like Home but Away, and we're like, yeah, that kind of works.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, there was one day we were like,
fuck.
I think we're like I forget what gig we were at, but we're planning on like, what's the poster gonna be? And like, in my head, I knew from the moment we said it, I was like, it's obviously, we have to be in our football jerseys.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, really. And I'll never forget, it was so funny because like, I think like Jill was there, and she just goes like, you're not going to do that tacky thing of football jerseys. And I went like, oh, no. She like walked away, and I was like, Dave, we're 100% doing football jerseys. I was like, fuck. He was like, yeah, we just, instead of like trying to put in like, oh, Irish guys, we're like, we're going to appeal to our home nations, and just be like, they just see the jersey straight away. They know there's nothing else needs to be said.
It definitely works in promotional stuff. Like, you see it on social media, and you go, okay, I get it. Yeah. It's a visual thing. Like it's a visual. Like, it tells you all you need to know about it. It gets you in. So like, it might be like, I don't know. I don't think it's cliche. I think it's fine.
But it catches the eye of every Scottish or Irish person. So like, oh
yeah.
I think we did the roast battle the last day, and we said, fuck, we'll do the jerseys, obviously. As we got on stage, there was like an Irish guy had stood up. He was about to go to the bar, and he sees my jersey, he just yells out, "Oh fuck, I was going to go bar, but now there's an Irish guy," and sits back down. I'm like, you didn't need to yell that, but that's exactly why we do this.
Yeah, that's it. And it went great.
Yeah, it went great. So yeah, it was a nice kind of, because we both immigrants to this country, so we our takes on moving to Australia.
Yeah,
we both have similar kind of, we both like to joke about things that other comedians wouldn't. Like, it's not a family friendly show.
Yeah,
I think we have to like let people know that. Like, I think you have to give the thing. It's like not suitable for kids. Not even close.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was great doing it as well, because like we're outside of comedy as well. Like, he's one of my best friends here in Perth. Cool. So I was like, it was definitely, it all came together really well, and we're doing it again next week next month. I don't know when this is coming out. It might have already happened.
Might have happened. And by the way, congratulations! I heard it went really well. If this comes out,
oh, so truly, so it's like it's Ronan with WA comedy that's like organized it, and it's like a 60-seater venue. So funny, we get like daily updates of how many tickets are sold. I think for like the first 2 weeks, it was just every day it's like 0 tickets sold, and we're like, man, this is getting depressing. I'm like, can we stop with the daily updates? And then it's like one day it just like jumped up, it's like 6 tickets sold, and we're like, and then like I think last night me and Dave, we were both doing a show together, and then we're advertising after, and all of a sudden it's like another 4 sold, and we're like, oh my god, we're now 10 out of 60. Here we go, we're still a month away. Like,
oh cool, a month away. I was gonna ask. That's cool. Yeah, then surely, because people will wait to the last like at least a couple of weeks before, I guess, as well. Have you put any videos out, like promotional sort of talking to the camera videos? No. You don't want to do that sort of stuff?
I'm really awkward at just like, I find it hard to just sit down and talk at a camera.
Me too.
I'm great on stage, great like talking to someone, but like for me just to be like, come to the show. It's gonna be funny.
My name's Ian. my name.
Ian the Shannon Dumb.
And then, so what have you learned about putting on a Fringe show that you would give advice to if someone is wanting to do it? Someone asked me, I had not been in the industry very, very long last year, and someone was going, you doing a Fringe show? I'm like, no, I'm way too new. Idma's doing one, so that's fine. I don't need to do one. So I was like, no, I've got nothing to do, nothing to say yet. You know what I mean? I'm fine to hang back and watch. So if someone was wanting to do one, what have you learned?
Similar advice to that, I'd be like, don't do the cliche of I'm a year into comedy, I'm going to do a fringe show.
Yeah.
I remember like because that was I kind of like I think at first I was like I put the pressure on myself when I started in 2019. I was like in 2020 I have to have my first hour.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how am I going to be a global superstar? And then, but yeah, thankfully I didn't, and like I've been slowly building up. So like that was my first fringe show this year, and I'm like 6 years into comedy. Doing half an hour felt right.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, don't rush in. Like if you've only got 10 minutes of material, do not do an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess
you're just clutching at straws.
Yeah, that's it. If someone asks a comedian, especially an open micer who's been doing it for a year or two, and they go, "Can you do 40 minutes?" and they'll go, "Yeah." And they'll go, I can do something for 40 minutes.
You've never done a headliner 20.
Yeah.
Why do you think you can do an hour? Like, I feel like people get so focused on the end goal of like, oh, but to get there, you have to do this. I was like, no, to get there, you have to take it slow and build up. Like, I know everyone wants to blow up within the first 2-3 years. I'm like, it's better you're at it 10 years. It's better you're at it 15 years. So when it happens, or if, because it's not a when, but like if it happens, you're ready for it. But like focus on just enjoying the stage you're at. You know, enjoy the 5-minute open mic spots and building your way up. Like building your way up to 10 is an achievement. Building up to 15 is an achievement. Don't try jump to 60. And as well, because like, you know, I've seen people that have just like, a fringe can be make or break, especially if if you're new to it and you think you can do an hour, and then like I've seen people that have just, you know, went to Edinburgh Fringe and then quit comedy. Yeah. And it's because like, you know, they were doing an hour to 3 people. And it's just like, there's so much you have to learn. Like people aren't just going to automatically come see your show because you're doing a fringe show. Like you have to.
They don't owe you anything.
They don't owe you anything. And like when you're an absolute nobody, like it's tough to get people. Like I think me and Dave, we did get a little bit cocky this year because like, you know, we had set our like 3 shows booked in advance, and it's like, you know, they were all selling really well, and we're like, man, this is cool. And then I think Grant put up a thing on like a Sunday being like, I've just had someone pull out for Thursday. If anyone wants that, me and Dave were like, we can take that. Like, 5 days to promote a show. Yeah, fuck it, we'll 3 people. Like that was it. And it was like an old married retired couple and like one girl. I was like, and we just got there and I'm like, man, I remember like on the day I was like, look man, we might as well pull it. I'm like, I don't want to do this. And like, Dave's like, the show goes on and like I'm at home and he's like, I'm going on stage right now. It's like, you're on in 30 minutes. And I'm just like, they're like sitting in traffic trying to get me like, fuck. I think I get in like right before I'm on stage. And I just like, at first I'm like, this is going to be awful. And then it ended up being like a fun gig. Yeah, cool. It's like, you know, you weren't doing your normal kind of like, it wasn't just doing your jokes. Like you just, cause it's 3 people, you actually have to be like chatting to them. Like this. I remember like, my open thing is I sat down and I like, cause you know, I prejudged. I was like, this is a couple in their 60s. They're going to hate me. And I just went to them, hey, do you guys like dark comedy? And they're like, yeah. And I went, oh, well, in that case. But I was like, I think by asking that and said, because if I just went straight into my kind of material, there probably would have been taken it. But I was like, hey, guys, just to let you know, you're going to have to get on board.
I tried it once where I was like, the assumption was that the crowd was into dark humor, so I said that. I didn't ask. I was like, "We're all okay with dark humor, right?" Yeah. And then people were like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right. So how many pedophiles did you have at your school?" Because you know, and then it was like a fun little way of bringing up the topic that I wanted to talk about. Yeah. And then weeding out or getting people on board immediately. But like, so do you think that it's like you can still use that as like, you know, Ian and then Dave as seen in, you know, on this day, but even though it's 3 people,
I wouldn't include that day. The other fringe shows, but I'm like, no, that day didn't happen.
So you've never, like, again, I don't want to blow smoke up your eyes, but I've never seen you bomb. But have you bombed so hard that you've thought about quitting comedy, even in the earlier days?
Definitely. Yeah. Oh man. Because I feel like I was lucky because like I'd been doing it for a few years when I got here. I'm like, you didn't see the graft in years. I think it was, to be honest, I think because I had been writing for like 4.5 years before I got into comedy, that when I got in, I think I was like better than everyone else that had also just started. Yeah. So like, you know, I had a really good first year where like, you know, I won a bunch of competitions and stuff, and I'm just there thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to be a superstar. And then, you know, 1 year, I remember I got booked to open for Kevin Bridges when he was coming to Ireland. And I'm like, man, it's all coming together. And then COVID happened. Everything just got wiped out. And I was like, and then it was like really like a year and a half and nothing. And then like when I was coming back then, it felt harder coming back the second time. I remember because it's like, you know, when things kind of slowly opened up. So there's only a couple of clubs. So it's like, you know, all the acts getting booked are like the well-established, been around for years. So I was just like new guy. I was basically back to square one. And then like, I just found it really hard. I felt like my confidence had I felt like I was on a wave, you know, it's like there's so much momentum. And then like that was completely gone.
Yeah.
And I was struggling again. And then I remember entered this competition, Show Me the Funny, and I ended up winning it. And it was like this big competition. And I felt like, I was like, once again, I'm like, I'm so back, so back. And I think like, I remember I went to America for a few weeks visiting family. And like when I came back, we were, I had 3 gigs booked. One was like opening for, I forget the name, but it's like, it was a very good UK comedian, but completely different comedy style to me. Like he's zany and, and 2 nights in a row, absolutely ate shit open for no. And I was like, oh my fucking God. Kind of lost confidence in myself. And then like the following week was like a charity gig for Ukraine. And Kevin Bridges was supposed to be on it. He was like being booked as like a secret headliner. And like on the day, it's going to be like, it's Kevin Bridges and it's going to sell, like it was 1,000-seater venue. It's like, it's going to sell the 1,000 tickets. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be and then he pulled out. So I think it ended up being like maybe like 200 or 300 people. And instead of being like, you know, Kevin Bridges fans, these were just charity people. This is where my money's going. Once again, I eat absolute shit. And I remember like, because like my friend was like, you know, booking that. And like, you know, when he booked it originally, it was like, oh, Kevin Bridges is going to be on. It's going to bring the crowd in and your kind of audience. And he was like, came up to me, he was like, you know, when Kevin Bridges didn't do it, I thought about just being like, maybe don't do the gig. And I was like, yeah, I had that same thought. We probably should have communicated this to each other because I knew I was going to bomb and you knew I was going to bomb. And I remember, I think it took me months because I went from such a high to 3 bad gigs in a row that I remember for months after that, I was just shit. I was like, every gig I was nervous and like just fucking like, I got this thing where I was like, you know, I get so sweaty and I'm like, you're on stage and like you can feel the sweat coming down and then you're thinking about that and you're getting more nervous and it's making you more sweaty and you come off just like and I'm like, what is this isn't even fun anymore. Like, why am I doing this shit? But I feel like comedy comes and goes in ways like that where it's like, it's always, you're going to go through shit periods. You're going to go through great periods. It's about knowing like, hey, neither of those are going to last. You're always going to revert back to the median. And it's just about making sure that the median keeps getting that bit better and better and better. So like, trust me, I've eaten shit just as much as anyone else.
And where, so in the industry now in Perth, like who do you, like say we're out in the foyer of the lounge and someone hops up on stage, who are you excited to go and see?
Wolfie? Every time. I think he just is the ultimate unhinged pro. And I love witnessing it every time. He's the only person that it's like, it doesn't matter if the audience is on board or not. It's hilarious. And sometimes it's funnier when they're not on board and he just like turns on the crowd. And like, did this happen to you and you do stand-up comedy?
He's great, and his energy is like unmatched. Even off stage, like he's still pretty. Let me top up your water there. He's still pretty like chaotic in terms of like his energy. He's great.
I remember like talking to him before, like kind of, and he was saying that like when he got into comedy, like you know he'd get shit faced first. Like I'd be like 8 pints deep and get on stage. And he's like, then I stopped doing that, but it's like I kept the mannerisms. I'm like, Dad, that explains it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're right. You have the energy of a man that's struggling to stand.
Yeah, like when especially when they normally have him on last and the crowd's like, all right, let's wrap this up. And he comes on and stumbles into the microphone stand. Yeah. It's like, and people go, oh shit, something's happening. You know, he has that thing about him. Hey, Wolfie, if you want to be on the podcast, we'll have to have you on, bro.
I think that my other favorite comedian I love watching, and I never get tired of it, is Josh Durkin.
I love watching Josh.
He's also like unhinged in his own way. That little like laugh he does, always just cracks me up.
The laugh always cracks me.
And he comes up and he's just like, I don't give a fuck. And he'll say jokes that he knows is going to piss the audience off. But my favorite performance I've ever seen was a gong show with Josh, where Josh gets up and he gets gonged and he refuses to get off the stage.
Yeah, I think I was there for that.
Tells another joke, gets gonged again, doesn't get off, tells the third joke, gets gonged. At this point, he's like, all right, I've been gonged. Walks off stage. They introduce the next act. Josh walks back up, tells another joke, gets gonged, walks back up. I think like I'm on like 2 or 3 people next. And I'm like, Josh, when they call my name, you have my full permission to go up. And he's like, Ian Burke. Josh comes up, tells a joke, comes off. Then they're like at the end, all the winners are coming back up, and I'm like, "You're 100% get back on the stage with the show." And he's like, "Yeah." So it's like he gets up, and it's like Chris is like, "Josh, get off the stage," and he's like, "No." And he's like, all right, let's let the audience decide. At this point, the audience are pissed themselves off. She's like, do we want to see Josh win? And they're like, yeah.
That's great. That's awesome.
He ends up coming like third. And it's like, yeah.
That's a great bit. That's like a real, I don't know. There's no one like him that does that. Like, I was going to say Stephen Wright maybe, but like he doesn't have that I'm going to do it anyway type of attitude. But like when he comes out and he's like, yo, you get a yo. Yo, you get a yo. It gets me every time because it's like, and it gets the crowd at least a little bit of a snicker is the word I said.
Bit close to the edge there. No, I saw him do one in Buffalo out Mad Cow. I think like he hadn't done a gig in like 2 months. He'd taken a break, and there's like, this is my first one back, and he gets up and he goes in. He's just in his head. He's like, I'm gonna ruin this night. So like tells a few jokes, and it's like not going well. And then like it gets to the point where he's got a notebook on stage, and he's like puts the notebook on the stool. He's now kneeling down on the stool, and he's just like, he's not even looking at the audience. He's just like reading it directly off the thing. No laughing, and he'd look at the audience and be like, why are you still here? He's like, I'm not going to get off stage until everyone has left. And like Dan is trying to get him off stage. So Dan's on stage and he's trying to grab the microphone, and Josh is just like,
playing the music.
No, keeps going. I think Luke Joseph Ryan, who's like closing the show, he's just he's not even like trying to be subtle. He's got his phone out for the flash, and he's just walking back and forth in front of the stage, being like, get off the stage. And Josh is just like, nah, I ain't going anywhere.
That's great. There's no one else that does that. No one else gets away with it either.
I'm just on the side. I'm pissing myself. I'd be like, this is just the best performance I've ever seen.
Have you watched him MC?
No.
I saw him MC at a Mad Cow, and the crowd was just dead. And he was doing his shtick, and the crowd weren't having it. We all thought it was brilliant because he's like, it's crickets, and he's like, all right, let's bring up the next. It was great. All right, so what's next for Ian Burke? What's your Netflix special going to be titled when it comes out? It's a question I should ask everyone, actually.
Yeah.
What's your Netflix special called?
Damn, that's a good question, and I've never thought of it. Netflix special. Home, but not. I'm stumped.
Cool. Yeah.
As you can see, I'm not very good off the cuff.
Off the cuff. Off the cuff by Ian Burke is going to be on Netflix. It's misleading. And then, so what's next? Are you like doing anything else upcoming? That this is going to be I want to say a few weeks, but maybe longer.
I think just gigging around Perth a lot, like lounge this weekend, home but away coming up. I think from then on, I've no plan. I really need to start going over east. Yeah. I think I've got family in Sydney at the moment, and I'm like, I should really go see them. He was supposed to come last year and just missed his flight, and I still haven't forgiven the fucker. Literally just text me like being like, oh, I missed the flight, and I'm like, haha, so funny, because it was like, he was meant to get like the 4 a.m. flight. or whatever. Or no, it was 6 a.m. there, but like 3 a.m. our time, and I get the text at like 3 a.m. like, missed the flight. I'm up for work at 6, and I'm like text back like, are you for real? No reply. And I'm like, for hours there's nothing. I'm like, all right, he's meant to be landing at 9 Perth time, which is noon Sydney time. He hasn't responded. And then around noon he's like, yeah man, so sorry, and I'm like, you clearly just landed, there's no way you were asleep till noon. And I'm just like, I didn't know. It turns out the fucker actually went out the night before. And he was like, I came back, I was like, I'm not going to go to bed, I'm just going to sit on the couch till it's time to go. And he just passed out the couch. Like, you fucking idiot. So you need to go over to him and do a few gigs over there in Melbourne, I think. I haven't left Perth yet, so the next step is to
me neither. Well, I'm going to I'll put an image of home butt away right here. It's going to be hovering above your head right there. You see it? Yeah, it looks nice. You're on the left-hand side. Yeah. And your social media page, which is Ian Burke. No Ian Burke comedy, just Ian Burke.
Do you not know my Instagram handle?
I can't remember it. What is it?
Big Bad Burke.
Big Bad Burke. Big Bad Burke with the colourful face of yours. All right, Big Bad Burke. Look at that. Yeah. Look at that beard. That's sexy. Sexiest comedian in Perth, as voted by me. Thank you very much, Ian Burke. Pleasure, mate. Thank you. I'll have you on again. Bye, Thank you. See you next time. Thank you. Fantastic. That was sexy.